mouth, out through the nose.
Okay.
Okay.
I think we'll be okay.
Welcome, everybody, to the second episode of the Nonsensical Nobodies. I am Jeb Duke. I'm joined with my partner, Bubba MacArthur.
What, just no faith that I can
No,
hit it the second time?
this is take number 3. I'm doing it this time.
Fine. It's only take 2.
No, it's take 3. If you count all of our recordings, it's probably like take 7.
That's probably true. Yes.
Anyways, welcome, everybody. This is going to be a car-themed episode.
Or at least car-themed to start.
To start. So, talking about project cars, we are currently sitting almost directly above your project car. Would you like to tell us what that is?
Sure. It is a 1978 Jeep Cherokee. Now, I know a lot of people are like, well, they didn't make that. Well, yeah, they did. It's in the full-size Jeep line, which it basically looks like your old, like those wood-sided Jeep Wagoneers, just older.
Mm-hmm. Now, was that before they went to the fake wood paneling, or was that still real wood paneling?
Mine doesn't have wood paneling on it, so I don't know. That was a Wagoneer thing, because Wagoneer was the high end.
I will put pictures of this up on the podcast, but it has more of a kind of Navajo-themed coach line to it, would you say?
I mean, I guess, yeah.
Or what would you call that?
Mojave
themed?
Mojave themed? It's like a smaller suburban type thing. It's
kind of.
Yeah, 4 doors, you can... It's got the front bucket seats, it's got the rear bench seat, and then a little cargo area. So it's not quite a suburban, but...
Now, is it the top hinge gate, or is it an actual tailgate?
It's
like the bottom.
But the bottom flops out. You roll the electric window down, and you can
That's
open the back.
surprising for that age.
Yes, it is. I would actually almost rather have the manual rolling window down because the wiring was so crap in it.
Oh yeah, speaking of the wiring, the person that you bought it from was somewhat obsessed, we might say, with cigarette lighters.
Oh my God. Well, and see, I say that, but some of the pictures I've seen, they actually have all that. This thing has like probably 6 12-volt outlets at least. And I got Jeb mad at me. Every time currently it doesn't have any wiring in it, but before we tore the wiring out of it, anytime you would put something in the cigarette lighter, it would blow it up.
Nice.
Like just silently kill it.
Nice.
Because I think I destroyed one of your USB chargers that way. But
at the time, I was probably mad, but
yeah,
get those things down at 7-Eleven.
And I'm a little salty about that because that guy you were there. That guy would not budge on his price.
Oh no. And
then,
he insisted that you took all of his spare parts that he had.
And I mean, that part's fine. I can always, deal with spare parts. But the fact that he didn't work with me on the price irritated me a little bit.
Mm-hmm. If it wasn't such a cool Jeep, I would have said, "Nah, I'm gonna keep looking."
Yeah. And then what was it? We drove it around for a little bit as it was, and it didn't really run all that great. I think he kind of hosed me on. I mean, it ran all right. Ran down the freeway, all right.
Mm-hmm.
But I think maybe a year after owning it, wife and I are driving into, I'll just say it, into Coos Bay from where we live, and it got a little cold out or something like that, and I turned the heater on. Cruising along and starting to smell something. I'm like, what is going on? Why does it smell? And about the time I ask myself that, I start seeing the smoke. I'm like, oh, this is electrical smoke. Sweet.
The magic smoke.
Yeah, the magic smoke. So I turn off the heater, and it's still starting to roll. This is as we roll into town.
Ugh.
So it starts to roll in the cab pretty hot and heavy. So I'm in the far right lane because I can't remember where we were going to go, but I dive this thing over all the way over to the left because that's where the most open spot is, to where if this thing catches on fire, it's not going to hurt anybody's business or something like that. So
Right. That's the last thing you need.
yeah, well, so as the smoke's starting to come up, we have our I think at the time she was like 6 months, maybe a year old Cocker Spaniel in the Jeep with us. So telling my wife to just bail. There was a fire extinguisher in the Jeep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but wouldn't you know it? I pulled the pin, nothing.
Oh.
So she runs over to get a fire extinguisher. I'm underneath this as smoke. I had already pulled the hood open, and I'd brought tools with me because it's an old Jeep, and you never go anywhere without tools in something old.
No.
So
this is also back at the time when you could carry a bag of tools and pretty much rebuild the motor on the side of the road.
With that vintage, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you probably could.
Modern day cars, I hate so much because unless you have a laptop with all the diagnostic tools and just pretty much a specialist riding along with you, you can't fix anything roadside anymore besides a spare tire. And sometimes not even that.
Yeah. Yeah, we won't go into that one. So, anyway, this is the dumbest thing. So, I pull the negative terminal off to try to make sure to keep it from sending juice to everywhere. And about the time in those Jeeps, it has a factory installed AC, quote unquote. It's underneath. It's kind of underneath the dash, and I start to see parts melt from it.
Ooh.
So I grabbed one of the knobs, and it just completely pulled off of the
dash. Or no, one of the knobs off of the AC unit
the switch.
itself.
Yeah, the switches. Stupid me, I panicked. I grabbed the grabbed the metal part of the switch. Oh, ow, that hurt. Maybe I should grab a tool that I have in here. So I grab this thing and I just rip it right out of the deal there, the dash. And finally get a fire extinguisher at this time, and literally just takes one little and then it's out. Like, well, that was a lot of drama for not a lot of fight.
At least let me use the entire extinguisher, please.
Right?
Make this worth it.
Exactly. So we let it cool down. Ended up just kind of making sure no wires were going to touch. Turned everything off. I think I even pulled the fuse to the heater just to make sure.
Mm-hmm.
Threw the negative terminal back on. Fired it up. Let it sit there for a second. Took it back home, and that was like a year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it's currently sitting in my carport. Currently now, have almost every stitch of wiring out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And me and my brother are actually in the process of rewiring this thing. It's just taking 6 years because
trying to get your schedules in line.
It's
because he works night shift.
Yeah, basically
swing shift or whatever. Yeah. So when you're ready to work on it, he's usually either at work or on his schedule of sleeping during the day and staying up during the night.
Yeah, and swing shift sucks when it comes to having a personal life. It's better than graveyard shift, which I've done that too. That sucks. But yeah, that's my project.
Perfect. So if you don't care, how much did you pick up this Jeep for, if you remember?
I want to say he came down a little bit because he wanted $3,000 for it. He came down to like $2,700.
Oh, okay.
I think so.
Not bad.
No.
But in hindsight, all that he had done to it, because didn't you say that he He converted the AC unit into onboard air,
Yes,
which is probably fine.
It is. That actually was really cool. You were there when my cousins came in for that camping weekend, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So we live by the dunes. It was really cool when we were when everybody had aired down. Everybody's like, "Well, what do we do?" It's like, "Hey, guess who's got 100 foot of air hose and a Jeep that can inflate everybody's tires?"
Perfect.
That was really fun. No, he actually did. He did a lot of work to it. The problem is, me personally, it was either him or the guy that did it before him did a lot of kind of shoddy work. And to be perfectly fair to this guy, that vintage of Jeep, I find out later, has probably one of the worst wiring harnesses known to freaking man.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's actually
There were budget cuts, and wiring was one of them.
Well, it's AMC.
Oh, yeah.
Those poor guys were behind the 8 ball like their whole existence. It was only until 79 is when they got to the better wiring harness, which figures. But no, I bought it's a universal wiring harness. It's got brand new everything. It's not plug and play. If I would have went with the plug and play one, it would have been like $1,500, something ridiculous.
Just super specific.
Oh yeah, this one was less than 400, which is still a lot, but brand new wiring, brand new fuse box. The only thing I have to swap out is I'm going to go all LED lights on everything. So I need to replace the flashers, the flasher units with it.
Okay.
We're getting a little too technical, but
Oh, no. So are you just going to do the, whatever that is, the little resistors?
No, they make
All-in-ones?
yes.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I'm probably going to do that. Probably going to put some auxiliary lighting on it because I would like to, maybe if I don't sell it, but maybe if
up for debate.
Yeah, it is. I don't think the wife will let me sell it though. She really likes her Jeeps.
Yes, she does.
She does.
As there's a Jeep Renegade sitting in the driveway.
Yep. But
hers,
yes, that is hers. That is not mine
alone.
Yeah. But I want to put some extra lights on it, and the buddy who has the blown up CB that I talked about last week. We're doing swapping to because I owe him money for my. I owe him money because I bought some CB stuff and a light bar from him.
Oh.
Well, now because I'm doing the repairs on his radio, I no longer owe him money.
There you go.
So we're going to do trading. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Trading.
Apparently, I'm not allowed to talk today.
We also are getting kind of an early start on this.
Well,
Little
yeah.
bit.
But I
It's
also
okay.
didn't want to wait till 11 or noon.
No.
No.
Seems how my bedtime today is about 6 o'clock.
Yuck.
6 p.m. Got to get up at 11:30 or so.
Oh, yeah, because you're on high fire danger now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just the greatest.
Oh, yeah. It's... Gotta love that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
But so anyway, I want to put some extra lights on it. It's pretty much about it. Just clean up the wiring, get it to running good, get a new.
Make sure it doesn't catch fire.
Make sure it doesn't catch fire. Yeah, that. Yeah, I think if it caught fire again, the wife would be like, "No, you need to just out
Take
the
it
door."
to the scrapyard.
No, like still get 2-3 grand out of it.
She would demand it. I know her.
So anyway, yeah, that's basically all I want to do. Like, if money was no object, LS or Hemi swap, put it. And I know you're gonna hate me because of this. I'd probably put an automatic in it. I know. because it's got a 4-speed right now, and that kind of makes it cool. But
yeah,
it's hard. It's really hard to, from what I've read up, it's really hard to put manuals behind these new engines.
true. But that's why you find a transmission that works.
Yeah,
I would be okay with you, and this is coming from the Ford guy. I would be okay with you putting in like a 350 if you put in a 4-speed, because you
Or
already have
5-speed.
or a 5-speed, whatever it is. You already have that third pedal. Don't go back to an automatic.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Still a long ways away from that, so but
You still got to get the interior put back in.
yeah, that's another debate on whether I want to put carpet back into it or whether I want to just do not rhino lining, but do like some kind of liner in it.
Mm-hmm.
But the only thing with that is I can't really well, yeah, I can. I guess I can go through the top with the wiring.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you'd still do a headliner in it.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do a headliner in
Mm-hmm.
it. But yeah, that's pretty much my current project. You have a current project as well.
I do.
You have an old flatbed.
I do. It is a 1990 Ford F-350 dually with the 351 Windsor in it. Picked it up for about $1,900. Drove it 160 miles home, and that was an adventure. Got halfway through my trip, stopped on the side of the road, made sure everything was still inside the engine where it's supposed to be, not puking out or whatnot. And I'm like, oh, battery terminal's a little loose. I'm just going to give her the old tappy tap. I didn't even tap it. No, I just tightened it. I tightened the terminal, and I went 1 turn, 2 turn. That 3rd turn, that terminal just splits right in half. Oh, no. Now what? Okay, hop in the rescue vehicle and go to any parts store that's close to where I was and just pick up one of those clamp-on terminals, which is still on there, and it's still running great.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Didn't we buy these projects actually in the same sort of town? Because I remember I bought mine out of was it Scio?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you bought that pickup out of Scio, didn't you?
Yes.
It's hilarious. And this is
as the crow flies, I think they're only 10 miles apart.
Yeah, and this is what, 2 years apart, 2 or 3 years apart.
3.
Yeah, when we bought these things.
It's hilarious.
So, what's wrong with it? What's good with it?
Oh, the guy told me that it was a fresh rebuild 351, which I am now convinced means gaskets and block paint. I'm pretty sure.
That's the rebuild. That's the got to sell this rebuild kit.
Perfect. Wiring on it, not as bad as yours. Nothing's caught fire yet, but lights are starting to go out on that flatbed. No tachometer. It was a custom trim package, so it had no tachometer. Even though it had a gauge for it, it didn't have the needle. It has the gauge with no numbers and no needle sticking through it.
No kidding.
People that know that dash of that 87, actually I think it was 83 through like 93, that dash style, through the Broncos and the F-Series pickups, had an odometer right in the center. It had an odometer slot, but I guess you just had to pay extra for that odometer, which is quite stupid. Did I say odometer? I meant tachometer. I am so sorry. Tachometer. But it was, Broncos, F-Series pickups of that year. They all had it, but nobody, I guess, paid for that option. Nobody needs to know what RPMs their engine's going at. Just go. Yeah. Just run.
Well, because that was what I'm seeing is 87 to 91 is the, because my parents had a 92 that had a tachometer, and if I remember right, our gauge cluster was pretty close to the same as yours.
Exactly. So I'm sure that our gauge, they're all the same, except for mine, instead of having two separate gauge clusters, they just said, okay, on the lower end models, we're just going to have no tachometer because that cost extra money, and just have a speedometer and all of our temp gauges, oil pressure and whatnot, and leave that center just blank.
Blank.
Well,
I guess any way to save a buck.
So putting in a new tachometer in there, that's one of the first things. Just spent $1,300 doing the brakes all the way around.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, that hurts.
Thank you, Les Schwab.
Yeah, my coworker mine's got a 2017 Ford that Les Schwab just charged him $800 to do front brakes on it. And here we are bagging on Les Schwab, and they're actually, not terribly bad, but
the Reed Sport one isn't bad. I've been to several that you take in just this tiniest little hole that's punctured in your tire, and they say, nope, we can't patch that up. That's liability.
Yeah, and then you go over to, Joe Frank and Jim Bob, and, oh yeah, we can patch that. Cost you $20.
7-inch gash. I've seen worse.
Yeah, I've seen worse.
We'll put a sock in it, and we'll get you going right down the road.
The sock in it,
or whatever that's called. It's kind of inner tube or whatever.
Oh, that's an actual thing?
That's an actual thing. Yeah.
Oh.
I can't remember. Uncle was just talking about it the other day. He had a skidder tire. Big, massive, like almost what they use on monster trucks.
Oh, yeah.
Logging equipment. Massive tires. Well, he hopped up on a stump with it the wrong way and punctured right through the sidewall. So he had his wife grab the trailer, take it to town, to Schwabies, and he said, all I want them to do is, somebody correct us, whatever the sock is that they put in there, like an inner tube or whatnot, just patch it up and, give him my card number. She gets down there and they tell her, we can't do that. We can't patch that up. It's a liability. So this is, I want to say this was right when cell phones were just starting to get into the mainstream kind of flip phone area.
So like the early 2000s?
Something like that, if I remember right. Late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
So luckily, she called him and said, they won't patch it up. He's like, let me talk to them.
Oh, no.
Puts him on the phone, and he's like, so why won't you patch it? Oh, because it's liability. Liability for what? We're in the middle of the woods. This thing's not on the highway. But patch it up. No, we can't do that. We can't do that. It's like, fine. So tells his wife, go down to the old boys down the street. They'll patch it up. He said it probably, that tire with the repair on it, made it another 7,000 machine hours. And then he sold it with that repaired tire on it. And I think he said it's still running with the new guy to this day.
Holy crap. So 7,000 machine hours would be like what? The equivalent to like 150,000 miles on a car?
Yeah, what's the ratio that I just saw? For every hour of idle time equals something like 33 miles on your odometer.
I would imagine it's a little more than that.
Well, in engine wear, because you're just idling.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So at an idle, an hour of idling equals 33 miles.
That you haven't traveled, that is
exactly.
Just, yeah, okay.
Of course, our machines are revved up to 26 to 2800 RPM all the time.
Holy cow.
They're
wound
there.
up.
Yes, they are. So, engine rebuilds aren't that uncommon at about 10 to 12,000 hours.
Okay, that makes sense. But
because I remember my old work truck actually had an hour meter on it, and at 210,000 miles, I think it only had 4,200 hours on the motor.
you're talking the Ford, right?
Yes.
The
2014.
The old one. Oh, no. You were talking one of the white ones.
Yeah, the old white Ford.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about
The old 6.7.
Okay, I thought you were talking about your old charcoal one.
No. I do miss that pickup, though. We were just talking about that earlier today.
Yeah, I miss that pickup, and I've never even sat in it.
Yeah, it had the big gas guzzling 460 with a 5-speed.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
And it had, I don't even know what the trim package was that had. It was a Lariat. That's right. It was a Lariat with the real wood cup holders on the center console. Yeah. It was a nice truck. I really, really enjoyed that truck until a Mercedes pulled out in front of me.
If I remember right, didn't it totaled the pickup, and it just dented the Mercedes or something.
No. So what
ridiculous.
happened was it going down about 50 miles an hour or something like that, and there was a car, whatever, 4 seconds ahead of me or whatever the time was. So the car goes ahead of me by this cross street, and I saw the Mercedes that was sitting at the cross street kind of roll forward a little bit. I'm like, okay, he's going to go after me. This is what I'm thinking in my head. Well, as I'm coming up on it, not slowing down, he just pulls out in front of me. I said, no, you don't. So I slam on the brakes. Well, of course, this is the end of the day. I don't have any fuel in my transfer tank for the machine in the back of the pickup, so I have no weight back there. So as soon as everything locks up, then the wheels just start to hop.
Oh.
And I just bunny hop right into the back of that Mercedes. It did more physical damage to the Mercedes, like caved in the whole trunk area into the wheel well.
Oh.
But he was able to start it up, take her right
Drive
back
away.
home, because he lived right there at the corner.
Ugh.
So he just turned it on, put his hazards on, flipped around, took it back home. I had just a tiniest... It wasn't that bad. It was a quarter panel, probably, on the front corner.
Yeah.
And maybe a little bit of metal was rubbing the front tire. That 460 would not start. I could not get it to start at all. And something got jogged loose or something, and
It probably pushed the radiator a little bit into it or something. I don't know.
I think it did. But it took 4 or 5 guys to push that thing off the road.
Well, it was a 250, wasn't it?
350.
Oh.
It was a 350.
It wasn't a crew cab, though. It was just a super cab.
No,
right?
they didn't have... Did they have crew cabs that year? They did.
Yeah, they did.
They did have crew cabs that year,
Yeah.
but it was the extended cab
Nice.
with no suicide doors.
Not as nice.
No.
No, but it had the cool little center pillar in the middle of those windows.
Yes, that was the split opera windows or whatever you call those.
Yeah, I always kind of liked those. I always thought those were a lot cooler than just like the single glass. Completely useless. The most probably next to the like the late 70s Chargers or Magnums. Where they had those rear opera glasses that had the slats in them.
Yes.
Completely useless, but it looked cool.
Oh, it was just screaming style. That was almost the year that they started switching from utility to style. It was the OBS, old body style Fords, which was 92, 93? 93.
What? No, not in the 3/4 tons. It was 92 up to 97.
That's right. That's right. Where they went to the more rounded front nose.
Yeah. Had
That was the year that Dodge came out with their what year did they come out with their Ram?
the newer Ram that where they went away from the old man square style, where they went to the more stylish one, was they went in 94.
Okay. So, yeah, which in my opinion, as far as old trucks go, that is the sexiest body style.
The Dodge?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. They look good.
With the headlights and the fenders and the separate hood.
Oh, yeah. They look
love
good.
it.
Yeah, they do.
Yep. And so I think with the OBS style, they were starting to kind of get away from utility and into a little bit more style. Not necessarily ride comfort, but more style.
Oh, no, they put ride comfort in there. Well,
for
with their 150s, yeah, but their 350s.
350s.
Oh, my God.
350s, you have to be loaded down before you get ride comfort.
Yeah.
That's just matter of fact.
Buckboard, we're talking.
Mm-hmm.
Heck, even I've got a 93 Dodge. It's a two-wheel drive, so it rides a little nicer than a four-wheel drive, but that thing will still jolt the crap out of you. Because, I have a diesel, but I carry nothing in it because I'm a loser, apparently. But, any kind of rough deal, it's not as bad as a four-wheel drive, but, oh my gosh, it beats the crap out of you a little bit.
Yep. If you're going to daily drive a 3/4 ton or a 1 ton, almost worth it to do away with your overload springs and go airbags.
And see, I keep talking to you about just straight up doing away with my overload springs at all, because I don't use the truck as much as I should, just to get a little bit more ride quality out of it and to lower the back end so it doesn't have the 70s rake to it.
Yeah, but that's still cool. I would rather have the rake going forward than reverse.
It won't reverse
the squat.
It. No squat.
Who started? Honestly, tell me who started that and who thought it was cool.
I don't know.
I don't.
The only time
I want to punch him though.
Oh. Yeah. The only time squat looks good is if there's a load of rock in the back of your pickup.
Oh, absolutely. Then it's like, yeah, you tow that.
Exactly.
You haul all that gravel. But anyways, back to my project truck. That's pretty much it. Tachometer, and I just did the spark plugs on it. That was a nightmare. Thanks, Ford. Make it impossible to work on with your, everybody's required to have that PVE system in it.
Okay.
Or the emissions crap.
Oh, yeah.
Which is hoses everywhere. You have maybe a 1/4 inch of room to get to spark plugs. Just terrible.
You're forgetting the best part of it, because you talked about what you put into it, what have you. You're forgetting the best part.
What's that?
The flatbed rails that you and your dad made.
Oh.
That are just
the 2-ton flatbed rails.
They're the coolest thing.
I will include pictures of this too, but yeah, they are Douglas fir stakes with chinkapin runners. Dad has a sawmill, and I said, "Hey, I want to make bed rails for the old flatbed." Oh yeah, we can do that. And I said, I want them about inch and a half for the rails. I think that would be a good thickness for them, be able to hold them right. Okay, yeah, we can do it. I go out to his property and I help load them on there and roll them onto the sawmill, these 17-foot long chinkapin logs. And he gets the first board cut, and he's like, well, that one came out a little fat, but I think that'll work. 2 1/4 inch. Each one of them weighed, I would imagine they were about 150 pounds each. And there's 3 of them on each side.
I don't think they weighed that much.
I think they're
Me and your
pretty
dad
close.
were able to handle them pretty easily.
Yeah, 2 guys
I'm,
on
I'm,
either side.
I'm
of the
weak though.
100 pounds. Meet me in the middle. They're heavy. They're really, really heavy.
There is no debate in that.
But the upside there's a upside and a downside. You can obviously guess the downside. My mileage went from 9.5 miles to the gallon to 7.5 miles to the gallon. Oh, that sucks. But my ride quality is awesome. No more rattling, no more wheel hop when you go over railroad tracks. It's pristine now.
All the
Feels like a Cadillac now, honestly.
and it looks really, really good. I'm sure you've seen in the pictures by now. It looks really good, or at least I think it looks really good.
Oh no, it turned out fantastic.
Legitimately almost jealous of this. That I
Thanks,
can't make
Dad. By the way, I'm not complaining about your bed rails. They turned out gorgeous.
No, because they're awesome.
They are awesome.
And the stain, whatever it's kind of a red.
Yeah, I did red for the uprights, and then I did just regular linseed oil for the runners.
And it looks really good.
It does. They turned out really, really good. I know I sound like I'm complaining about them. They're really heavy, but I know I'm never going to take them back off again, so that's just fine with me.
And you could literally get hit by a Mercedes and be okay with it.
Yeah. I'd survive. The truck would survive.
The bed rails would survive.
They would. But speaking of the mileage, the horrible mileage, that 3-speed,
because it's got a C6.
it has a C6 behind that 351. Man, back in 1990, they weren't thinking of the freeway for those. They were honestly thinking, okay, 35 mile an hour country roads, which is fine. We're just living in the modern age, driving old vehicles.
Yeah, but the sad part is the old vehicles are sometimes more reliable than the new vehicles.
Mm-hmm. What did I text you the other day and told you what the rear ends were? Was it a 588 rear end that thing has on it?
Oh, that
Was it 533 or 5? It was 5.33.
it
rear
was
ends.
some ungodly number for that.
So a C6 3-speed transmission with a 5.33 rear end means that thing is just screaming at 60 miles an hour.
And see, I would have bet money that was like a 456 gears. See, now you do know the trick to actually check that without having to do numbers and everything.
You have to jack the thing up and rotate the tires, don't you?
Yeah, you put a piece of tape on the drive line,
Mm-hmm.
and then you pick a point, like stick your thumb or your hand on it, and just hold it, and you count how many times the drive line goes around by the time you get back to your start point on your tire.
Right.
So, like, if it goes around 4.5 times, that's roughly 456 gears.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I think, didn't you say you looked it up?
Yeah, and the
ridiculous.
dualies of that year, most
Are you sure it
commonly
wasn't 513s?
513, 533. It's still
Something ridiculous.
Exactly. I think they said that like 515 or 533 was the most common for that year a dually, and that was common clear up into the F450s.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Which, hey, it's a work truck. That's fine.
Well, is yours an F350 or is it an F Super Duty?
No, it's an F350.
Okay, because that vintage, they had the F Super Duties.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of the vintage F Series, we have at our logging operations one of the first fire trucks that we ever bought, because we have to have, or not fire truck, but a water truck. We have to have so many thousands of gallons of water during the summertime with us in case there is a fire, first responders. One of our first water trucks we got was a 87 F800 with a 3156 Caterpillar in it. Right? Am I saying that or is that the right? I don't know my Caterpillar numbers. 3208. That's what it was.
Was it a V8 one?
Yes.
Yeah, that's 3208.
Yeah. Non-turbo 3208 with the 4-speed.
Probably straight pipe too. What was that? The lime green one?
Yes, it is lime
Oh
green.
yeah, I've seen that one.
Okay, so you see everybody take the, I can't remember what the GMCs are called, but that kind of oversized truck and put a pickup bed behind it. You know
the Kodiaks.
Yeah, the Kodiaks. You see everybody do Kodiak conversions all the time. You never see anybody do that with those old F800s.
There's a couple of them, but they're not as prevalent. No.
Which is unfortunate.
Well, it's because for some reason people have this stigma against Fords. Because it's too easy. It's people aren't talented enough to make an acronym for Chevrolet or Dodge.
True. Ford's just unfortunate enough to have a 4-letter name.
Yeah.
But Ford family, we've had Fords in the vehicles for forever, as long as I can remember. Dad's first pickup was actually correct me if I'm wrong, was it an 82 F-150?
80, I think is what he said. I think it's his red, the one he was talking about is red and white one. I think it was an 80.
Yes. Was it an 80?
80 or 81.
I know you're going to listen to this. Comment down below and tell us what it is, because I don't feel like texting you right now. I know you're at work. But no, I've seen pictures of that, and you want to talk about sweet-looking old
seen
pickups.
One picture, and it looked really good. Really good.
And he said he had which I kind of wish that this was still a thing. He had the headliner stereo and speakers up back behind your head. Why is that not a thing anymore? I'm sure in big rigs they probably still do that.
No, actually.
Really?
Some of the older big rigs, they had the stereo up there, but once you got into like the doubled in type stuff, or guys putting custom radios in it, it's all like usually in the right side. I think that's probably just for driver convenience, because you don't up screwing around with it up on the roof like this is a little bit more of a pain than like here. It's not nearly a pain in a single cab pickup.
Right.
It's
they probably went away from that because of driver safety, keeping your eyes on the road.
Yeah, when it comes to the big rig, but I do agree with you. The overhead stuff in a pickup, it's pretty cool.
Well, it just makes sense. What else are you going to put up? Obviously, in modern pickups, that's where your sunglasses go and your map lights. And with the modern day Bluetooth stereos, that's where your microphones are. But back in the day, it was just maybe lights, if you had lights.
Yeah, you didn't have a lot of the creature comforts, and if you did, like in my pickup, it straight up doesn't have. Well, no, it does have a map light that doesn't work for anything, but the interior light was behind you.
Yep, that's what the 90 flatbed is.
Yeah,
it's up behind me.
Yeah, exactly. So, you have all that, and then you have all this room to play with that nobody did anything with.
Exactly. Which, from pictures, because I didn't live back in that time, I'm just a little baby. People did CBs up there. They did the, custom headliners. You had your cassette tapes, and you had your singled in stereo, or that was in the dash, or you had speakers up there.
Yeah.
People did so much more with the headliners as far as accessories wise back in the day than I think they do today. Of course, you're not really customizing modern day trucks,
not to a point.
Well, it's so expensive now.
Yeah.
If you want to completely redo your interior of your truck nowadays, I'm sure you'd be nowhere shy of $10,000. $10,000 I think that's $1 million.
I think it is too. But no, that I think unless you got a guy that or pardon me, unless you have a person that really knows what they're doing, it ends up looking just like a bunch of plastic crap thrown at your, it's like a bunch of Walmart stick-on garbage, just thrown on it.
We were walking through AutoZone yesterday. You picked up a sunglass case, and that thing. You said you're not a very strong guy, but you could have just taken that thing in your fist and just crumpled it up.
Well, and it's like you go to open it, and you can hear it click, but you can't feel it click. And it's like...
How long is that going to last? 10 opens?
Right.
Before that little latch just snaps off?
Exactly. But if I remember right, going back to what your dad's pickup was, wasn't it like a 302 and a 4-speed?
Yes.
And a long bed 4-wheel drive, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. My talk about our dad's first pickups. Wasn't his first pickup. I don't know. Because he's never really talked about any of his vehicles, anything, before that. The vehicle that I remember him having, actually, and I want one of these so bad, you know it, and I can already see you rolling your eyes because you've heard this so many times. He had a 67 F100 step side. He insists that it was a long bed. I remember it as a short bed, but then I was 2 or something like that, 2 or 3. But I distinctly remember standing on with step sides, you don't have the straight bed sides. You have like these fenders, like that just go around the rear tires.
Right.
And then you have little step side on the inside of it to where you can step in, get your stuff, yada, yada, yada. And I distinctly remember standing there when I was a kid. But it was midnight blue, just midnight blue. He took the 240 inline 6 out of it, put a 289.
Ooh.
Yeah. He then took it from a 3 on the tree, put it down to he didn't put a 4-speed in it, I don't think. He said he just moved everything down to a 3 on the floor.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I remember it was a pretty cool truck. And then gave it to somebody, and it got blown up.
Oh, man.
And then I don't know where. I would imagine it's in a scrapyard somewhere.
Speaking of those 289 motors, everybody loves a 5-liter. I have a 5-liter. It's amazing. Everybody loves the old 5-liters. But the underdog of that era was truly the 289. They just sounded gnarly. They weren't that impressive for power. There's no replacement for displacement, but it was comparable, and you could definitely do a lot with it.
Well, that's why they got put in the Mustangs and the early Broncos as well, because they were small.
Yep.
You get into the bigger stuff, that's where you get your 302s, of that vintage you have the 352s. I think that's kind of, I know that,
there's a lot of uncommon numbers in there.
Oh, yeah. First time I heard 292 as well, but that's getting back a little bit further.
Right.
Like I had an old 55 Ford that had a 292 in it.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Oil bath, air cleaner.
Which are awesome. Why don't they do those anymore?
Because they're not awesome.
No, they are. They truly are. Debate me. I think that they clean air better than our modern day air filters.
Just because it lets bugs into it.
So you, just like anything, you change your oil. You change both oils. You change the oil in your motor, and you change the oil in your air cleaner.
We'll just agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Eh.
I still think it's...
They look kind of cool.
Oh, they do. They
those
absolutely
oil
do.
bath air cleaners, they do look cool.
Mm-hmm.
But for like everyday thing, it wouldn't be oil bath for me. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
your opinion sucks.
I've been told that. I have been told that
Uh,
on more than one occasion.
Poor Bubba.
Poor Bubba.
Used and abused.
Yeah, we'll call it that.
We'll call it that. But no, 289s were definitely underappreciated, I think.
Not unless you have a Mustang. Then
Not
they're
if you have
very
a Mustang.
appreciated.
Yeah, and it's original Mustang fastback.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I still think the cooler ones, though, are the 67 to probably 69 or so, where they had they went from the, and this is them saying this, not me, they went from the secretary car to the muscle car,
Yes.
the pony car, if you will.
What was the old saying? V6 for mama and V8 for daddy, or something like that.
That's all you, bro.
Oh, really? I heard that one of the old sayings was, the American way was V6s were for mom and V8s were for dad. Mama had the V6 Thunderbird and daddy had the V8 Mustang.
Probably. I don't know.
Oh, I'm confusing myself. You know where that comes from? Regular Car Reviews. An excellent channel you should check out on YouTube. Maybe.
Yeah, Brown.
Brown. Maybe not. He gets a little...
Rowdy?
Rowdy, raunchy.
Yeah. He's like the angry video game nerd of car reviews.
Yes. Absolutely so.
But...
Speaking of vintage cars, Regular Car Reviews Vagabond Falcon. That is a sweet little car.
Yeah, it is a sweet little car. I don't particularly care for that body style, but I appreciate the workmanship he put into it.
Well, and that's what he does. He's not into, because everybody's into the Camaros. Like I said before, everybody's into the Camaros, everybody's into the Mustangs, everybody's into all those common hot rods. He's like, I like the Falcon. The Falcon's the everyday man's car.
Well, and the early Mustangs, as everybody I'm sure knows, were based off of the Falcon.
Yep.
So if there's no Falcon, there's no Mustang.
Exactly. It's a valuable piece of history.
Mm-hmm. That is underappreciated as well.
Very underappreciated. I wouldn't mind a little Falcon. I think I've only seen like 2 of them real life.
The Falcon Rancheros are kind of cool too.
Ooh.
Like a little car pickup. Yes.
Talking about a rant, America,
Oh boy.
get together, get on your A game with the Utes.
Right?
We need more Utes. They ended, and we want them back.
Okay, now you say that Subaru tried that.
With the Baja.
Yeah,
but they're also Japanese. I want American. I want a Ford. I would take a Chevy.
Yeah, but
of course.
You are such a liar. You
No,
would
I
not
wouldn't.
take a Chevy.
Actually, Chevy kind of did with their bubble truck. What was that? Just the SS?
the S. Well, yeah. I don't know what to call that.
My childhood friend, his dad had an SS.
Yeah. The only thing cool about those was the driveline of it.
That was the only thing cool?
The LS motor? Yeah. No,
That's not the only thing cool. It was a hardtop convertible. Come on, give it a little bit more credit than that.
Yeah.
Of course,
I think
I
they're
say
weird
that's
looking.
really cool. I would never own one because all I can imagine with that is when is that thing going to not work and it's pouring down rain?
Well, that's why you don't have convertibles in freaking Oregon.
That's true.
Yeah.
Or Idaho or Washington. You only have them in California.
And
Even
who the
then-
heck wants to live in California?
Even then, you have to wear your gas mask because it's so smoky there all the time.
Oh, it really is. Like I don't think you honestly have an idea.
No, because I've never been through Los Angeles. Now in high school, we went down to San Francisco.
That's actually probably a nicer area.
It is, as from what I remember, it is. We went out to Alcatraz and we went through. I can't even remember what it's called. It was that Tier 9 or whatever it is that has. It's like the art gallery.
Okay.
Down by the bay.
Yeah.
Something like that, where all the street performers are.
Okay.
But no, I've been through California. I don't think we went through Los Angeles to get there.
You're not missing a whole lot.
I'm probably not. But no, if you look at any like far away shot of the cityscape of Los Angeles, it's there. The sky is not green, is not blue. The sky is green and hazy, and you can't. Everything just looks like a blur.
Supposedly, it's gotten a little better now that they've, and not that I'm advocating this because I'm not, but supposedly now that they've tightened the loops on emissions down there, it's supposedly gotten better.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
That or everybody's driving Teslas now.
I don't want to talk about Tesla.
Oh, come on. It's an electric vehicle with some of them, if you get the ludicrous option, a 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds.
I don't care.
You have to acknowledge it.
No.
They exist.
Oh, yes, they exist. I don't particularly care for them.
And they're fast.
But for how long? Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Their semi-trucks are claiming
okay. No,
1 million miles.
Oh, that is so much crap. I guarantee you no, I don't guarantee anything, but if those things go over 100,000 miles and you don't have to have them in the shop at least 14 times, I'd be surprised.
You want to talk about having truck in the shop 14 times?
Oh my gosh, this new crap. Just any of it.
The logging tree farm that we are on has their own trucks. They have about a fleet of 100 in Springfield.
They've got a lot, don't they?
They do. Yes, they do. They are trying out they were Kenworth everything, and they were trying out the Peterbilt 386.
Slope nose ones?
Yes.
Ooh.
You're the truck expert.
I think it's
so
the 567s.
567?
It's still are the headlights integrated into the fenders, or do they have?
They're the kind of weird looking.
It's 567, I think.
567.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're trying those out. In a month, I think that it was for the 1 month period that they tried it. It was in Peterbilt's shop for 3 weeks.
Now, here's the question. What engines did they have in the Kenworths, and what engines did they get for the Peterbilts?
Well, the Kenworths are obviously pack car.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I would have figured they would have stayed with Cummins at least.
It depends. Honestly, I think that it's just whatever's available at the time they'll grab. But no. They might have the Cummins in it. I don't know. But Cat's no longer doing anything with the big engines.
The only guys that are doing anything are, I think Volvo is doing their own in-house motors. Mack is doing their own motors. Cummins and Detroit are still in the game, and then PACCAR is the new guy on the block.
Really?
Yes, I think.
I know guys that have run pack cars, and they seem to like them pretty good. They say they got about 100,000 mile break-in period before they really get.
I've heard that the MX-13s are all right, but the MX-11s are garbage, and I don't know about the MX-15s. But I know the new ISX-15 is supposed to be pretty good. The DD-15 for Detroit is supposed to be pretty good. I don't follow Volvo or Mack. The E8 Max are actually pretty good too.
Yeah. Do you think Mac's going to have kind of a recovery in America, because I know they kind of went away there. Mack, if you thought semi trucks in the 70s, it was Peterbilt, Kenworth, Mack.
Mack is more of an East Coast truck usually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's one big company around that does almost nothing but Macks. They've got they actually have a few. I don't think they have the Kenworths anymore, but I have seen Peterbilts.
Oh, okay, but that's primarily highway.
That's all highway.
Yeah.
I don't see a resurgence of them unless it's on the East Coast. See, the East Coast guys like up around Maine, they still use the Mack Titans are big up there in the logging industry.
Right.
American loggers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they still use Macks up there, but they're not nearly as popular on the West Coast. Probably because they don't. I don't know for sure, but probably because they don't have the factory supporting like Peterbilt and Kenworth have over here.
Oh yeah,
because they were started over here.
Exactly.
Well, you know what I mean.
All up and down I-5. There's a lot of them. I know that. There's like three Pape Kenworth
Yeah.
dealerships within Eugene and Springfield.
Yeah.
But they definitely have the support.
They do. And believe it or not, and I know that everybody's going to groan, so does Freightliner.
Yeah.
Because they were started, like literally started in Oregon, I think.
Were they? Were they really? As he checks.
Let's find out. Keep talking.
I'm going to say something that is controversial to you that you might not like.
Oh, no.
I like the looks of Western Stars.
What's controversial about that?
Some people think that they're too big.
Okay, now I do kind of agree with that because I've never been in a Western Star before, but but if you just look at them, if you just look at them, they look taller and wider, especially their big sleepers. I think they have. It's either Kenworth still has or Western Star has the biggest factory sleeper. Because I know Kenworth has the 86-inch studio.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that the Western Star has like a 90 or 92-inch sleeper.
Just a rolling apartment.
Yeah.
Dad and I, when we were at the logging conference in Eugene, I was trying to remember if it was Eugene or Springfield. In Eugene, we actually, for the first time, got to sit in one of the new Western Star dump trucks that they had there. And cab-wise, very basic, but very roomy. We liked it,
Yeah.
at least.
In the Western Star, you said?
In a Western Star. I can't remember what the number was.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with Western Star numbers. But
controversial. So I started my driving career with Swift.
Now you say it.
I don't care. Whatever. That's where a lot of guys have to start out at.
Right.
Okay. I love my Peterbilt.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. But the Volvo that I drove for Swift was, oh my gosh, roomy. And that thing would turn 3 circles inside of that Peterbilt.
That is kind of their claim to fame, isn't it?
That's about all they have because they're ugly.
Oh. They kind of look like a cheetah.
That's putting too cool of an animal to it.
No,
but unfortunately, you're kind of right.
They are. They kind of got the black tear ducts of a cheetah.
So, going back to Freightliner.
Give us the knowledge.
So Freightliner traces its roots to 1929. This is via Wikipedia, so not
Citation needed.
Yeah, citation needed. I'm not trying to.
People are going to look back on this podcast and say, you know what? He knew what he was talking about.
Anyway, in 1929, following the founding of Consolidated Freightways, which is CF, which went defunct in like '01 or something like that, in Portland, Oregon. So I was right. I actually knew what I was talking about.
Good job.
Golf clap. Golf clap. And that's why you see so many Freightliners in freaking Oregon.
That's true. That's very true.
Except in the logging industry.
Yeah. No, you're going to see them in maybe mill transfer trucks, but out in the woods.
I see a couple out in the woods, and they're old. Well, they're old converted FLDs, or they're old converted, maybe not converted, but they're older Freightliner classics. You know, classic XLs, that kind of thing.
I think the reason you don't see them out in the woods is because they all get laughed at. We had one, and it was a mule train. It was the ugliest. It must have been like a 02 or 03. It looked like that.
Probably
style.
Columbia.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It was. Because all we see out there are Kenworths and Peterbilts. And one Western Star.
Yeah.
For a while. But you never see a Freightliner out there, or a freight shaker.
No, you don't.
And the one time that I saw it, I was like, yeah, there's a reason they're not out here.
But truck to truck, that Freightliner probably made more money than a lot of those Peterbilts and everything. Tell me, okay.
Maybe.
Maybe. You can get into a Freightliner for cheaper.
True.
And pretty much the underpinnings are pretty much identical. And you're spending thousands of dollars less because you're not getting the markup on a Peterbilt or a Kenworth.
That is true.
We're getting into some controversial stuff right now.
That badge is almost as bad as Harley Davidson as far as markup price.
Oh my God, what are you doing to us?
Before everybody gets mad at us. 1 hour, 9 minutes. We should probably wrap her down. So, if you would like to hear our conclusion to why Harley Davidson is marked up so high for such an overrated motorcycle, tune in next time.
Oh my God. Please come back.
Please.
But in all seriousness, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you guys think. Let us know what we can do better.
What do you guys want us to talk about? We'll talk about anything. We have an opinion on everything, even though we don't know anything.
Exactly. Nonsensical nobodies.
Exactly.
That's what we are.
Perfect.